Hi, welcome back to whatever this is. This is either a main episode that we're doing, or we might put this out across Substack as well as the main feed, because we wanted to do some updates. We have actually done a Burrow Deep episode behind the paywall on this, but we sort of kind of wanted to make a formal announcement. Maybe this is a bonus episode. I'm not really sure how I'll insert this, but there's a few things that we want to announce and sort of get on record. We have for some time been dealing with Mum's father's, my grandfather's health and decline. Of health.
Yeah.
He was 94 in the end. But he has passed away now. And we were doing a couple of episodes behind the paywall. We did what we called State of Aged Care 1, State of Aged Care 2, and this is kind of State of Aged Care 3, which is this kind of continuation of our experiences with this. I've said some stuff in the past on these episodes that, I was probably a bit harsh on some things because we've been very stressed out dealing with this situation, but yeah.
I think with hindsight, we can look back at both Dad's decline and the whole aged care process. If I'm more realistic now, the decline really was starting as Mum passed away.
All the way back in the end of 2021.
Yeah. If we think Dad turned 90 that year.
Yep.
We had a little bit of a celebration under the cloak of COVID. They both really weren't in a great, position health-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, Mum passes away end of 21.
Yep, October.
And at the same time, my father's dealing with seemingly a myriad of health issues. So I'm taking him here, there and everywhere to different doctors, and the whole the foot situation, because he had vascular problems. So he was therefore developing sores on his feet and all that sort of thing. And that was playing out big time as she left this world. And then, I was sort of at regular appointments with him.
Yeah.
And if I look back, and even if I look further back, I remember being absolutely amazed by his frailty at, first of all, his sister's funeral and then his brother-in-law's funeral. And, that was just before COVID. So, again, when you're looking back, you're seeing quite a decline and quite a journey, if you like.
Yeah.
To use his word. We have a whole year devoted to foot problems, and then we get to 24, 25, and it's quite a rapid decline.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Towards the end of 24, I was sort of taking over more and more of, think like his banking, for example. He wasn't really up to using the computer and all that sort of thing. And his mobility wasn't great because of the foot issues. And then 25, we see quite a decline.
Yeah. So, Mum had been in a position, and I did say this on the last one of these sort of health update episodes of, basically becoming full-time carer. Not full-time, but certainly like a carer and primary care duties in the sense of taking him to medical appointments, taking over really like his money and his accounts for various things that he used, and really kind of over, it's been a tough 12 or 18 months or so of just things getting worse, but there also not being, and you did say this on the last one, there was no definitive illness where, it wasn't, we didn't hope that he was more sick or got cancer or something like this, but there was a sense of, well, something like that takes you out, where there's a little bit of structure to it. This has been a very, very slow degradation, gradual decline of a person's body, and
a decline of a body in their 90s. And the big issue, most of all, really, and he would say this on a daily basis, was vision. He practically lost.
That's what I was saying. So, like,
all vision.
On the last one of these that we did, I said it was like watching somebody be erased. It was like his feet, his, his legs, then his kind of like his eyes and so on, and then his mind. And it's been that. It's like, by the end he was blind. He hadn't stood upright in, oh God. I don't think he was in anything but a lying prone position for the last few months. And blind, and then he had completely lost his mind by the time.
Utterly confused. So and look, we've probably talked about this before, but there were three, from about the middle of the year, there were three hospital visits, and each time, of course, there was a decline. And rationally, that's going to happen. But in the moment, you're just dealing with what you've got to deal with. So the middle of the year, there was a week in critical care. His GP and I thought that he had to go to hospital. There was no other choice. And then from there to rehab. And if I think about it more clearly now, he was confused in rehab. So it was the beginning of that, or the enhancement of that. He came out of rehab and went home, but I was doing his meds every day. He'd lost. He said he could do it, but he no longer could do it because he'd been 3 weeks where doctors and medical staff were doing it for him.
Yep.
So I continued that.
Yep.
And we were just at a point, nurses were visiting anyway. He was having personal care. I'd put that in place, and still thinking, and rather, probably not thinking clearly. That was becoming difficult for him to live in his own space.
Yep.
Just going to put into place someone to come and do the medicines.
Yeah.
And then he has a massive fall.
Yeah.
To this day, no one I speak to and the medical staff that looked after him afterwards can even understand how he survived that.
Yep.
So that was the second hospital visit. From then it was, no, he cannot go home and live independently. He has to go into respite initially with a view to permanent care. So the second hospital visit, a different hospital, great medical people, and settled into respite, where he was totally confused. He thought he was in his own home and he was going to go down to the dining room and all this
He didn't know where he was.
He didn't know where he was. And we sort of had an understanding, he was at a certain level. But then he has an episode in the nursing home, in respite care, and they respond to that immediately with taking to an emergency department. So it's the third hospital visit. And then he's got infection and all this.
Yeah.
And then we're talking, it's palliative care.
So
It's days.
Yeah, can I get in a little bit here?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, look, what ended up happening was towards the end, and we're talking over a period of months, he has a big fall, and it's a shocking fall, and basically covers his entire apartment in blood, from where he's fallen in the bathroom. And you go out there to see him in the morning and you find a man who
He's just standing there.
covered in blood, has no idea what's happened. And so you would take him to hospital, you get him to hospital, and then from there it's been this back and forth battle of like, well, where is he going next? And it's like, well, he can't live by himself anymore, so he needs to go to respite care. And people are sort of thinking, well, is he even going to make it out of hospital? He's admitted, gets a bed in respite, then he's taken back to hospital for something else, the infection that you were just talking about. Then we're thinking it's a matter of days. He's going to go into palliative. No, he's not. He's going back to respite. People are running assessments on him all the time. Then he's back in respite. And it has just been like this back and forth, limbo, doubt. Where is he going? Anxiety-inducing thing. But the other thing was also in all of this is that at the point that the decision was made, he could no longer live in his apartment in the retirement home. Well, if he's going to respite and aged care, we're going to need money to pay for that.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
While you've been dealing with the medicals and him back and forth and trying to organise a bed for him and all this sort of stuff, I was going out to his apartment to clean it and to pack it up, to get it ready to sell it, that we had some money to pay for the aged care. And so it has been the last, while we've been doing the show and dealing with all that we've been dealing with, we've also been, and what we've been doing here at the Barrow has been hard enough, doing the memoir, but we've also been living immersed in pretty much like a daily anxiety-inducing nightmare of this ongoing situation.
Yeah, and it seemed, enormous limbo, really.
I don't know whether I'd keep calling it limbo. I mean, it has been horrendous. It's been this really difficult period of time. I mean, the last several months have been unbearable. I felt like, and you felt like, there's just been a boot on your chest, and
for sure,
this fear of like, well, what's happening next,
and along with the emotion of that, is the other emotion of just stress in terms of financing.
That's what I'm saying.
Aged care, because if you don't have a big amount to pay up front, your daily fees are enormous.
They're huge.
So, in the long term, that would sort of work out. But in the interim, it was just, well, how will it work out?
Yeah.
And so medically you're dealing with something, and financially you're dealing with something else. On the medical side of things, once he came back to the nursing home from that third visit, we'd reached a new level of understanding. Like I sat down with the critical care coordinator, the GP who was assigned to that particular nursing home, and we were actually all on the same page, that this person was in a a palliative state. There would be no more hospital visits, no great interventions. As one person said, I think several people said, no heroics. So I found in the end that the medical practitioners, we were all on the same page. I think when I was talking before, sometimes you get caught in this grey area that you're making decisions on, well, you don't know what the end point is and how much intervention is acceptable and how much is unnecessary. But
there's been all these simultaneous ticking clocks where it's like, on the one hand, it was like once he was admitted to respite care, I think you had 60 days gratis and then maybe an extension to 90 before you had to start paying. So it felt like there was this ticking clock on money and getting the apartment organised, which was my sort of fear. And then there was sort of felt like, I mean, there's just a ticking clock on this human being generally. You know, he's obviously near the end and he's confused and he's in pain. So what's happening there? Is he going to pass? And it's sort of like, I mean, it got to the point where it was like, I felt, and you did too, very distressed that he was still alive. And that is because, you know, it was just this prolonged pain. It was unendurable. It was like...
This was a man who had no mobility,
yeah,
low vision, low hearing, or great hearing loss, absolutely confused.
Yeah.
He knew me. Yes, he still knew me. Hadn't walked since the fall.
That's what I'm saying. Like months and months.
And you know, also he had renal dysfunction and so on and
That's
so on.
all out.
It was a whole body breaking down, and I think I've said many times, and I think I felt like I was operating this life.
Yeah. But just watching that is so distressing, witnessing that. And
you wonder just how long that can go on for.
Yeah.
And because I'd seen him rally many times, I mean, rationally, he was getting weaker and weaker.
Yeah, of course.
But I had seen him rally so many times, and I'm thinking, is there an end point to this? And I mean that in an end point for him.
In a compassionate way, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So anyway, he did pass gently.
In the end.
And it was, he was just about to go into the permanent care. I think I'd, just signed all the papers for that, and we would have worked out the finances for sure.
But this was the other thing, that he passed sort of at the 11th hour on the financial situation, which was, we were just about to sign, and this had caused, and not to be sort of crude by talking about somebody's physical discomfort and genuine compassion stuff and then cold finances, but we were on the cusp of signing up for a significant entanglement with certain systems and institutions that was going to be, a nightmare. It was going to be another commitment, and how long would that go on for? And then you knew that you would have to untangle that. And so, all this anxiety over the distress of witnessing what we were witnessing with him, and having actual compassion of like, he needs to pass because this is really horrible.
And can I say, he wanted to.
He was saying that.
He has been wanting to. He had been wanting to.
Yeah.
For,
best part of a year. Best part of 2 years.
Yeah, but also post mum passing, like they lived as this couple
Yeah, I know.
with no other outside friends and things. And it was sort of almost no point to it from his point of view.
From his perspective,
Yeah.
So there was that angle, and then there was the financial angle, and there was all this worry, and then this has all been in doubt. Like, there's no clear timeline. What's happening? When's it happening?
Yeah, and that all gets conflated. And also the other aspect of our situation is it's you and I. I mean, I have no siblings to say, hey, can you visit Dad today? What do you think?
And that's the thing that I was going to say, is that, we were a family of 4. It was you and I and your parents, and we were down to a family of 3, and there is no one else. And so, like I say, I was doing the apartment, you were dealing with him, and both of us were at the end of our rope with our individual tasks, kind of thing, and our individual stress load. I'm only realizing now, because we're recording this after the funeral.
Yes.
And, a small amount of time has passed. But I'm just realizing how much pressure and stress and tension I've been under for quite a while.
Yeah, and I think we, particularly in the last few months, we were just sort of running on the adrenaline. And then when he actually passed, like we just hit a wall. The sheer exhaustion, I've never experienced exhaustion like it. And may I say, culturally, you are shoulder to shoulder with me. I don't know whether many other people do that with their grandparents. There's a distance. Like, you're involved with me like my partner, like as if I'd have a sibling. So that's an enormous burden on you. You're the grandson.
But it's I mean, we've touched on the negatives, the downsides to being only children. We've touched on the downsides of very small families, and I mean, this has been a really stressful time. I have definitely felt an enormous resentment as well at times, and an anger of thinking, this is a job for your boyfriend, husband.
Yes.
This is a job for
my brother or sister.
Sister or cousins, maybe. That, any of that extended family, and there is a small amount of extended family that we're estranged from them, have been forever, basically.
Yeah.
And so, again, I found myself in a situation where I'm playing surrogate husband, surrogate sibling, surrogate whatever. And that was bringing to the fore all the tensions and all the, the sadnesses of what we've been working on throughout this memoir process.
It played out the same scenario that we'd lived.
Had always played out.
Yes.
Yeah, where,
yes.
And then you're trying as a decent human being to not become narcissistic and turn this into a thing about yourself and say, poor me.
Yeah, I know, but you are. I mean, human nature. You are saying that. So there's a conflict of emotions.
It's not poor me. It's.
Why do I have to experience it?
No. It's why me.
Yes.
Yeah. Why do I have to? It is a why me. It's sort of a like, what did I do? This is such a strange, unique, burdensome scenario of a family. Yeah. What did I do? And we're not the only people on earth to feel those things, of course.
And of course, added to that is my father was the last piece of this puzzle that we've been unpicking.
Well, this is,
And we have come to realise that he is quite central to all of the things that we are unpicking.
Look, we know that, and that's all going to be on record in all the episodes we're doing from here to the end of the year. But like, truly, what you're saying there, and or at least my interpretation of it, which is that this experience of your father's life lingering in the state that it was had deeper resonances
Yes.
regarding everything we've been doing
Yes.
with the historical familial work and research, as well as the kind of like the thematic and psychological kind of undertaking that this show has been, this project. And so look, excuse me, I just belched. And
yeah, so it's been an emotional roller coaster.
It can't be understated just how difficult this period of time has been.
Yeah, I know.
And
I know.
I already was aware of how difficult this undertaking was, the project, the conversations, the memoir, all of this. I didn't think I'd be doing it with a living, ongoing, live piece of the puzzle still in place, underscoring it all.
Yes.
And so I've
Yes,
also had to...
We thought we might have been talking looking back, but we're talking as it's playing
And that's
out in front of us.
that's worth stating on the record, is that like this project that we've been doing, we really haven't been doing it in retrospect as much as maybe we thought we were. We've been doing it with a living present thing, underscoring it. That, you know, again, not to be crude or callous, but now that he has passed, perhaps this project becomes a little easier towards the end of it.
Yeah.
Or not, I don't really know. But what I do know is that you are incredibly fatigued and depressed, as am I. And that's a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And yet, we will continue on and get this project completed, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just wanted to sort of give an update, and that was kind of like our final thing on quote unquote state of aged care. I think in the very first one we were sort of talking about like what you've come up against in terms of just cultural attitudes and various things. In the second one I was talking quite literally about the processes involved and finding a sort of bureaucratic tediousy to a lot of it. I probably said a couple of things that I wouldn't say now. But you know, I was really upset at the time. I was quite distressed. So I, you know, take it all with a grain of salt. I don't know what I'm going to do with those other episodes. I would like to put this on as just like a bonus so people know where we're at in our lives. But, you know, watch the podcast feed and keep up to date with the Instagram or any of the socials, and as well as sign up for the Substack, because I will... it's my intention to sort of put a few more things out around this time, because we've had some conversations that aren't part of the main episodes that have been our burrowed deep behind the paywall conversations. I know that, you know, obviously we release a few of those here and there as bonuses. I think I might be a little bit more intentional about releasing some of the most recent ones, just so people are with us in real time.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, I can make announcements about that. That's really it.
Yeah.
The other thing is that forthcoming we have some really positive announcements. And I'll save them for a main episode, but Mum and I actually have some kind of I was going to say big news. It's just good news. It's not big. It's not the book hasn't been picked up and we're suddenly getting published. It's not that, but some positive things that make this period kind of stranger for the fact that they came along right now. It all happened in a period of weeks.
The timing.
Where we were hit with extreme stress and negativity and quite good news, like I say. So yeah, watch this space, and we'll keep you up to date. But that's it for this one. Anything else you want to say?
No.
All right, bye.